Alright, we in this thing. Let me get a little sip.
Fucking hell. Come over here like that. The power of TV.
Cheers.
Oh.
Cheers, bro. Soda, even though we shouldn't be drinking this caffeine.
Honestly, I'm a coffee guy.
My girl loves coffee. I haven't really got into that shit.
Dude, I don't even know. I blame downtown. Not Starbucks, though. I hit up all the new coffee shops, so Academic, Circle A, and...
Where's that one now?
Academic Coffee. We're actually having a show there, but it's on 2nd Street and Williams.
Is it like hella big?
No, it's a tiny little spot.
2nd Street and Williams.
Yeah, it's like there's a piercing shop, and then there's like a... it's directly across from that auto body shop behind Notre Dame High School.
Oh, okay. I think I know the area you're talking about. It's not that far away from here.
No,
it's close.
It's up the street, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and do my intro now.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the Recipe Podcast. It's your boy BQ, where the game is sold, not told. I'm with a very special guest in the building. We had an interview done already at San Jose Day, but I thought it was only best that we brought him into the studio. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Nicholas Jimenez. I host SJCA Style and Culture. It's a vlog and also interviews as well.
Yes, sir.
And then a couple of music videos here and there, depending on the climate or who's down.
Yeah.
And it's a mix mash of like local talent and then a few up and coming artists from the local area. It's Fresno.
Hell yeah. And you know what's funny? I mean, not funny, but what was dope was that you mentioned to me right off camera is that a lot of, like, just that comment that you said at the DM that you got is like, oh, I didn't know that he knew you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that stigma and that stereotype we need to just clear that shit right away. It don't matter where you're from. It don't matter who you fuck with. It don't matter what demographic you cater to. At the end of the day, if you're real and authentic, we relate. That's it.
Yeah.
Period. And I feel like we have the same interest of supporting other people. We like to be representing the culture. And if people don't know, he is the creator of the San Jose logo that everybody seems to be jocking.
I wore the shirt.
The shirt?
I was like, I think I got one, and I should probably rock it. Yeah, I mean, aside from what, what you would think is like, oh, well, it's San Jose and nothing really happens or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's always a cliche,
Yep.
In the last few months, traveling and having art shows with another collective, you find out every city has that. People from San Diego wanting to move up to San Jose or San Francisco because they're tired of that, or vice versa. People in San Jose wanting to move to LA.
Everyone.
So it's like everyone has that feeling of like this town's too small, this town's too big.
Like being boxed in.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I think what me and you both acknowledge is the fact that like we love what we're doing and what we can be and where we want to be, and that I think more than anything it's like collaborating with people.
Yeah.
And for me, it's weird because it's like I used to think like really selfishly. I'd be like, oh, I want to be successful, but then I realized I'm like the community is a community. But it needs people, and it's like you can't just do it on your own.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's hella boring if you're trying to do it on your own.
Oh, always, yes. You gotta like motivate yourself in that process too.
Yeah.
Not everyone's gonna see the vision that you have in your mind.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Like, I mean, what is it? 2019 now, and it's been 7 years since like I started like what would be like the beginnings of it, like making videos, video work, like perfecting the craft, and only maybe 2-3 years of the whole actual like. What I have been showing, of like two solid years of what actually being in the brand, what it is, and like the movement, and then only like maybe a year of actually like putting things on garments.
Yeah.
But that's only as a result of people saying like, "Hey, I fuck with you."
Yeah, it's like support. Like
yeah,
support.
And that's really what it comes down to when people are just like, "How can I support you, and let me help you out?" And then I'm just like, "Fuck, well, I'm not gonna say no," but at the same time, I'm like, "Fuck." Well, it tells me I have to work on a little bit more. I have to figure out a little bit more things.
Other ways to just distribute your brand and get people to know who that's you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's good because you've already kind of like built your community. And I feel like when you create a brand, that's like the most important thing that you have to realize that you have to pay attention to is your community of people that fuck with your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I brought you here. The reason why is because, I don't know, I haven't posted the video that we did at San Jose Day yet.
Hey.
The quality is trash. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty disappointed in myself from that day. I had a gut feeling it was just going to come out trash from the beginning. But I was just all optimistic all the way through. So I was just like, you know what? We're just going to run it.
But I think the most recent Gary Vee thing, and not to just bring him up because we were talking about him earlier, but it's true, like when you try those things, you go that extra mile to like, say fuck it, like what's going to be like. being hesitant to try out new things. Like honestly though, like the fact that you were bringing up the podcast and like the new way that you're trying to promote these things, I was like, fuck, you're still having to experiment. You still have to learn. And so honestly, my respects for you to go out at that event. That shit was popping.
Yep.
So I was
it was lit there.
Yeah. So I was like,
shout out to Back Magazine.
Yeah. Shout out Haley, I love you.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out to Haley. I met Haley like on the fly. She was like, she was frustrated, like, oh shit, I gotta do this, I gotta set this table up. I'm like, hey girl, I feel you, man. I've been there.
Yeah, I know. She's my Woman Crush Wednesdays on every other week.
Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
She just, I heard she's like the only one really putting in work in Back Magazine. Like that's really like her thing, right?
Yeah.
She's the owner of it.
Yeah,
right?
so she's like from what I've heard and what I've talked about is like, yeah, she'll work with like collaborators, but same thing. At the beginning, before anyone wants to hop on this project, you have to do it.
Yep.
And from my understanding is that at the beginning she was doing most of the photos, the writing, and all that.
Yeah.
Since then, I believe she's been able to find people that actually want to contribute and help and be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really cool. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's kind of a crazy thought to be like, hey, let me take on all this responsibility to be this thing. But then at the end of the day, once you start getting some traction, you start realizing like, oh shit, that it might suck at the beginning because it's like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I think the end result and what you just see, I think even more then, like more people are willing to help.
Yeah, definitely, because they see your growth. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of like reminds me like when I was starting to do Emlyn, like it was just like a piece of paper written down. I'm like, excuse me, I see some people doing similar things, but like with their own brand, selling a little table, putting out their clothes, trying to sell some stuff, make a couple of bucks. And then I'm like, okay, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So then we copied the same method, get a table. Instead of it being my own brand, we hand select pieces and we started promoting them and started selling them at like vape lounges in front of liquor stores at the Mercado, Capitol, Oakland, Berryessa, shout out to San Jose. And but then like, it started getting to the point where, this is where Gary Vee really plays a huge part of like Emlyn's growth. Is that I got put on Gary Vee like 2016, like when my mentor Anthony, shout out to Tony, he's the owner of Optimal Boost, which is an agency for like real estate agents trying to like promote, market their property and stuff. He gave me his book and he was like, hey, check him out, bro. I guarantee, he's like, just look at it. At that time I was only looking up to rappers and like urban influencers and shit. I didn't really dive into the whole like business world yet.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there because that's a really important thing with like the growth of anything is like learning and how constantly are you looking for new information or like being aware of what's going on. I think that's where it starts. So a lot of us begin with the whole like, well, what rapper's doing this, what musician's doing that, who came up with this. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, you have to go and find that information. And what's crazy is that content's like readily available. Like honestly, I didn't even, like people think at school, because I do go to San Jose State currently, they think I'm a photo major. They think I'm a video. Yeah. They think I'm trying to go into like reporting or newspaper like writing, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like I just learned that shit on the fly, and I like talking to people, and everybody's told me that they're like, dude, you're good in sales because you can talk to people. And most of my jobs were like that. Yeah. But that's why I was like, oh, well, this is why I go to school for like industrial design, and I learn a lot more about branding, content, and like manufacturing and all that stuff for a career. But like what I really like to do, interviewing people, going to events, knowing how I can draw a crowd to like a specific issue, and that's really, it's like that ability,
I feel like I have to write this down because there's a lot of stuff that you mentioned that I don't want to forget about. But that's a great point, because like people are already assuming that you're good at something because they see you actually doing it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the result of experimenting. You know what I'm saying? This is where I was like going back to that, what I was mentioning about Gary Vee, is that when Anthony put me on Gary Vee, he's like, content. That's what it is. I'm like, what the fuck is content? I'm just like, all I know is fucking flip. I'm just a hustler. Like, put me in the field. I'm gonna put in the work. So then when he showed me that Gary Vee stuff, I'm like, okay, it's interesting. Like, at that time, it was the Ask Gary Vee show. Like, that's when all he was doing. Okay. There was nothing else besides like what he's doing now. And then I was realizing, okay, he's all like, just film what you do. Like, show people the stuff that you're doing. And I was like, that's easy. Like, I'm confident. Like, I'm a natural confident. There's some people that are very like insecure to put themselves on the camera. You know what I'm saying? Hey. There's reasons. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to get out of your comfort zone. That's how you're going to level up.
And honestly, I mean, I'm thankful that I lost that hard drive. But there's like a good maybe like 2-3 solid weeks of me filming. I was just getting used to the camera. Like I remember I told myself like, there's no one I can find that is doing the work that I want. Yeah, you can find YouTubers and all that stuff, and they're already big, but they're not local.
Yeah,
at least not here.
Especially not here.
And
there's a lot of things that ain't here.
In 2012, 2013, I was like, I just had moved back from LA. You know, I had seen the like what I was like, oh my god, like this is fucking cool. Yeah. But I was like, but it's LA, like yeah, but I don't know anybody here. I don't know any art galleries. I don't know any business owners. I don't know anybody.
Exactly.
Like I'm here, but I just remember thinking, I need to be in front of the camera because I need to be the one doing this because I think I can do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some fucking awkward footage of me like slouching and be like,
we all have
like mumbling.
Shit. Everybody
and just,
got archived themselves
like,
on their phone.
When a girl or a guy tells me like, damn, you look so natural. Like, oh my god, like you're just so you. Like I'm like,
you forgot about the 200 clips I filmed before.
Yeah, like fuck, it's hella bad, but. I mean, you know, I can't even say like, oh, I took theater. Like, nah, like I took 2 semesters to fucking get like a GE or like credit, but that helped only so much. But even then, it was just the ability and just trying it, like go for it.
That's another thing I'm gonna write down so I don't forget is school. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's an important subject for me to bring up with you. I think it's a perfect subject for me to bring up. Is all the things that you're emphasizing on are skills. At the end of the day, it's you actually being able to execute and result. Like, to get the results, I mean. And a lot of people, like in society, believe that if you go into a public school system, an educational system, private school system, that you're automatically going to get those results. But in reality, like in the tech space, from what I learned about Ruben, is Amazon and Apple and Google, they're no longer, like, taking they're not putting priority of degrees. They're going based on if you know how to actually code, or you know how to engineer, and you know how to be an SDR, etc. So like it's same thing falls for like YouTubing and like being somebody that wants to be passionate about photography or create content. Like YouTube has everything for free. You can literally take the time to like find all that stuff. Obviously, this isn't an anti-school thing. This is just more of like a self-awareness thing. So I mean, I want to get your opinion on like what do you feel about school and skills? Like, do you feel like if you have the skills, should you go to school, or do you? Because I feel like I'm gonna give you my opinion before you answer. Is I feel like school gives you a general sense. Like it will always give you a general perspective, but not a tactical result. If that makes sense. So like, what's your opinion on that?
So I guess like what I feel about school right now. I mean, I'll let you know. I'm on sabbatical. I took a break. Not a lot of people know that, but. By the time this comes out, I'll fucking probably be in fall semester already.
Hell yeah.
But how about I guess I have to get my thoughts together. But I guess for the short term right now, I'm saying I didn't take a traditional path. Like that's the thing about me, and I think my family in general. It's like my mom was a business owner. Like I always saw her making money, like hustling. Was it tacos and jewelry at the flea market? She'd sell jewelry, and then she got a catering truck. And
the real
my mom was like this wild lady, because I'm like, damn, you have to provide for 7 kids, right? So you can't get a 9 to 5.
You got 7 brothers and sisters?
Yeah. So I'm the middle child.
Damn.
But so that's like the basis, right? So I see my mom doing this thing, but my mom in no way was like denying that she didn't know. So she told me I went to Oakland, took courses, business courses. They were free. Like she kind of told me a little bit about it, and I just remember like seeing that growth, like going from like a rented house, you know, a split house, to then my mom buying a house. To then 2-3 cars in the garage. I'm like, damn, my mom
leveling up.
Needed to learn at a school, like whatever small thing, right? So now to me, when I graduated high school, I was like lined up to go to college, but in my head, I didn't know enough. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. So my point in school is that like your path can't be the path that they lined up for you. Yeah, they tell you need to finish 4 years, you need to finish 2 years, but you have to somewhere in that time fuck up. And I don't mean like, oh, like, don't do your homework. No, like, fuck up as in, like, try those things. And I don't mean join a frat, sorority. Yeah. No shame to you guys. Y'all all hot.
Turn up.
I know, fuck it. But, I mean, like, go start that business. Go try to make that small hustle. Or go do that side project that you wanted to do. So, like, if you code, go make that app. Fuck it, whatever. Or go make that website. Go do that thing that you think will give you experience. Because for me, that's literally where all of this whole came from.
Yep.
Like, so...
Just putting the efforts to try.
Yeah, because school is there. Now, I can't deny it. Like, I didn't know what the fuck manufacturing, product design, brand development, brand psychology, like how, like, you'd be surprised what you learn at school if you really go balls to the wall.
For sure.
At school.
No doubt.
And so, for me, in that major, that's the other thing. A lot of people are like, oh, find your passion. Well, yeah, I'm good at video. Yeah, I'm good at photography. But I don't want to be a photography major because I already learned that. Like, and I learned that on my own. It's almost like those. I meet hella kids and I'm like, how the fuck do you know Ableton? No one teaches you Ableton in high school.
Yeah.
Like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like that kid was already learning it. Don't go to school for music production. You're already learning it on your own. Go for something that you think will benefit you, like learning about, writing legal stuff for music.
Yeah.
Or like the legalities for like publishing music, ownership, and like how you actually market music and like big. More. That's big. Because it's like you're already doing something on your own. Go for school to get to that extra thing. So for me, it was like, well, I want to make this thing. Like, I don't know what it is in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's something about San Jose, something about like lifestyle. I don't know. I don't want it to be a brand. Yeah. My fears, right? School taught me, dude, there's a reason why fucking Apple makes you fall in love with your phones. Like, you think, oh, it's just like cheap design that makes them thinner every year. Like, no, bro. Like, they go hella crazy, like psychological to like how you feel about that thing. And at school, and when you find out that industrial design is like this major that involves like hella aspects of just things that we buy, is like it just gives you a new perspective on like the things that you create. And to not go any further, but like school to me was like this tool that I like leveraged. I was like, fuck it, I'm first generation. My mom can't pay for it anymore. Like, I need to, if I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get in debt. But I either get in debt and I come out the other end of school saying like, fuck, I don't have a job. Yeah. Or I'm going to learn as much as I can at school. I'm going to take classes that aren't for my major. Yep. That are, I'm exploring ideas, that I'm trying new shit. And if it gets too hard, I'll take a break. Fuck it. Yeah. And so that's what I did. 5 years straight, chugged summer, winter.
Do you feel like, how was that for you mentally? Do you feel like there was challenges that made you feel overwhelmed to the point where you couldn't perform and receive that information?
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it's like, I think it's, it's true. I mean, San Jose is fucking expensive. But honestly, it's not even that. I got burnt out because of just like everything I was trying. Like, but I was trying it. Yeah. And then I had to reassess at the end. I was like, okay, so like, I have these vlogs, I have these videos I want to do. But school is a priority to finish. Yeah. Like, I need to finish that shit. Hell yeah. And I think there's no use of me, like, overextending myself. And so at one point I realized, like, car payments, just living expenses, like eating and, like materials for school. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm gonna refocus. And that's the thing about it. Like, I'm only 25, and I'm thinking at 21, like, I could not have been capable of this. But shout outs to the kids that did and are still doing it and are at school at that age, because at 25 I'm already thinking like, at least I already have that experience of living on my own, because I do paying my own rent, putting myself through like school on my own terms and trying to find that help. And it's like, I have to remember though that it's not like, oh, from here to next year, from here to 2 years. Like, it's okay if I take that break. Yeah. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not giving it up though. Yeah. And so for me, I was like, okay, I can't do this semester. And that was a tough choice, because at the end of the day, everybody told me, my mom, family, friends, you're dropping it. Yeah. And then everybody gave me their idea or their plan for me. Everybody's like, oh, well, just, start working, and find a good job, or just start, they gave me settling. And the thing was like, I was like, at what point did you think I didn't give a fuck about school anymore? Yeah, like, and it's not that. It's just like school will always be there, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know about anybody watching this, but like, don't assume that just once you're done out of school, you're done learning. Oh no. If anything,
learning is forever.
Yeah, and so from 2011, graduated high school, to 2019, I'm like, I had to learn about, was it the software that I was using? Because Adobe Premiere is like awesome, but that shit changes. Yeah. And then not only that, but social media changes. Websites change. Like, nobody has a website anymore. Everybody has like a social media account, or it's like, oh my god. And so like in high school, that was all we were learning. You gotta have a website. And today it's like, you have to just know that you have to prepare yourself. Yeah. For those aspects. And it's what's interesting is that I don't expect a job just because I have a title. Because they did away with that with Apple saying, we don't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, but
sorry to cut you off, because there are a lot of people with degrees that are still stupid. I'm sorry to say, but I know a lot of people that got degrees and they're still kind of stupid. And that's the thing though, it's like, no se aplicaron. Like, they no se, like, no, like, you literally... They finessed the test.
You finished the test. I have homies and it's like, it's fine. Like, that's you. That's who you are. That's quick. But also, you have to understand what you like and what you don't like. I like talking to people.
Yeah.
I find it. That's why I was really good at sales.
Yep.
That's why I was good like working with people. But I have coworkers that like will stay in the back and just chill there. Like you tell them organize this thing, and they're like, they'll organize it but not talk to a single person. I'm like, yeah, like you have to know what you're good at, and it's not bad. And maybe you can make the change, but it's no pasa nada. Like no pasa nada if you're just chilling there. And so with me in school, at the overall, I'm like, if you have the means, you can put yourself and you're willing to be responsible and follow through with it, because that's the other thing. Mm-hmm. I have friends that I straight tell them, like, don't go to school because you think I want you as a friend to go because I go to school. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you got to choose your path. Like, I work with kids, teenagers. I mean, I'm kind of the weird anti-hero that I'm telling them, like, you can wait, but you can either take that choice for yourself or let other people decide. And if you decide for yourself to go, remember that. Mm-hmm. So that when it gets hard, you feel you can't do it, you get all fucking sad and a lonely boy or a lonely girl, like, you remember, like, hey, it's something that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And if it's the other way around, you're going to keep complaining every semester. My mom wants me to be here. My dad wants me to be here. Yeah. And that sucks. Yeah. No sacas nada. Like, that's what I hate. And so for me, I got it through my head. I was like, fuck it. I want to go to school because I think I can learn. Yeah. And, dude, honestly, I'm still enjoying the fruits of that.
So, like, I have a question for you, and I want you to answer this for the people that might feel this. Because some people feel this and they don't even know it. You know what I mean? So, like, how does a person become aware that they're doing it for their family and for their exception versus their actual desire?
I think it comes down to I think at the end of the day, when you sign up for that, you know, I'm a product of community college. Sometimes you fuckers think that, I don't know, they always come up with you come up with an idea of who this person is. Like, honestly, for me, I was like, I have to be clear. Like, I took 2 years after high school. Me hice pendejo. I just worked. Yeah. I just wanted money. That's literally it. And then it got beaten out of me on like 45, 50-hour weeks. I'm like, damn, okay, like, I'm not gonna be a millionaire from here to 5 years or whatever. Thanks. So, anyways, when you're choosing school, like, it's fine that you go to community college. I see it, but no te hagas pendejo. Like you can't assume that just because you're in school taking random classes and being like naive to the world that you're gonna somehow end up at a 4-year like really prestigious or whatever. But tampoco te creas like you have a title that makes you better. Yeah. So honestly, I have to thank the gardeners at the fucking school that I went to, because my first day of school, no fucking son of a bitch told me what like classroom or where I was. I just got on the field and I was like, oh fuck, this is weird. Like doubting it, and el pinche jardinero was just like, oh hey, ¿qué onda? And I was like, oh, I'm looking for this classroom. And I straight up got driven on the little lawnmower cars, and he's just like, oh, I'll take you. And I'm like, oh okay. Like San Jose City dropped off, and I'm like, oh fuck. But in my head I was like, that could have been like my uncle or like my fucking mom. Exactly. But that's the thing, like, when people say I did school for my mom, you know, she immigrated here, I would say that honestly. If I graduated today, I'd be like, hey, I did this for my mom because she, you know, came here with nothing. I mean, like, that's true. Yeah. But more than anything, it's the values that my mom taught me. I did it for the values that my mom taught me. My mom gave me the best, and this is me making the best of that situation. I see what you're saying. And so I think you have to know at the end of the day, it's like, yes, you want to succeed. You want your mom, your dad to be proud of you. Of course. And they are, though. Mm-hmm. But they're proud of you, remember, because you're making the effort and you're following through. Yeah. Not simply because you got the degree and you're like, okay, I'm chingue, like, cool, okay, bye. Like, you have to know the difference of, like, going for something that you know you want. Like, I'll give you an example. If you know you're capable of being a mechanical engineer, like haciéndole like fucking
numbers is crazy.
Just going for it. Yeah. But you settle for a major that's just easy, quick, and you get out. Yep. In the hopes of like, oh well, I'll just be able to get quick. Like, done. Or something. Like you're fucking yourself up. Yeah. Period. That's be unhappy right away. That's the part where you have to know. It's like I chose the major I chose because as soon as I heard about it, it hit my ego. Mm-hmm. I straight up saw some kid on a computer doing CAD models. I saw his projects, prototypes. They look like products. They look like shit that you would see on ads. And I was like, dude, are these real? He's like, no. And I was like, really? He's like, that's the point of my major. Yeah. I'm the guy that works on this team that would make these products So you as an investor say, you know what, here's this money, actually go make that. Go develop that and go manufacture it and sell it and bring it to market.
Yep.
He's that dude. And in my head, I was like, what the fuck?
Hell yeah.
Like, that's hella sick. Like, what the fuck? And so in my head, I was like, when I started the paperwork of like how long it'll take me, I was like, 7 years? I was like, no manches. Yeah. But that's the thing though. That's the part where I'm like, I'm going to make my mom proud if I get a degree.
Yeah.
Okay, but what kind of degree? Like, I got like a quick AA, like 2 years, and I'm out, and is my mom proud? Like, that's when you realize, like, my mom just told me, if you're going to go back to school, follow through and finish. Yeah. Whatever you get. Yep. And my mom she didn't care if I was going to be a doctor, lawyer, or whatever. I told her I was going to be an artist. Y casi was like, oh, okay. What the hell is that? Yeah, but now it's like, right? And that's the thing. And so now today, it's like, I didn't come on here to, like, talk about school, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not trying to validate it. Yeah. But I'm not trying to bash it. I'm just saying that for me and my circumstances, my situation, I saw that major. I was like, fuck it. 7 years. If I live to be 50, that's not that bad. If I live to 80, that's not that bad. Yeah. Like, and so I'm like, 7 years, me las chingo, fuck it, whatever. Yeah. I'll look at it and I'll be proud of that work. Hell yeah. And so now, fast forward 5 years, 5.5 years, I transferred from community, went to a 4-year. I went and I got in that major, and I found out how competitive it was. That's where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But that's a reflection of the attitude that I carry on with the other projects. Yeah, because now you were able to compete. Yeah, it's like failing in the beginning. Yeah, because you could have just been like, this is too much. I can't do this. Yeah, okay, settle. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, like I'm not just one kid. Like that's why I think about like working with other people. Yeah, because I'm like, what happened to me that didn't happen for other people? Because like it sounds cool and I can sit on my laurels and I'll be like, yeah, I'm about to get this bachelor's of science. It sounds fancy. Yep. But for example, my day job where I work with like teenagers at risk youth.
And where do you work so people on the camera and the audience know?
I work at Makla at the DMC studio. It's a digital media and culture studio. We have workshops with kids for photography, music production, poetry, and I know I'm missing one. But
and you get paid to do that.
Yeah, and so it's like
because you actually do shit you actually like to do.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. Mm. But that's the part where I'm like, when I meet these kids that come in out of foster system, they don't have that mom and dad. Yep. They don't have that tío, tía, that like say what's up or abuela or whatever. Yep. So in my head, I'm like, in a way, I was getting ahead in school and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, like. It's time. Regardless, I don't have to be a millionaire or make it to give back. I can give back while I'm doing it, piece by piece. And so that's kind of where I'm like, it's a reminder of like, oh okay. And so in my head, I'm like, I see that I can benefit my community. I can do that, but I can do it now. Yeah. And that it doesn't mean big things. It just means like the small day-to-day work that I do there. But then also when someone is trying to rise up. And like, for example, you invited me on the podcast. I'm like, anything I can do to leverage any support that I have, any friends that are watching this, any people that are like, oh, hey, what's up? Who's this dude? Yeah. Like, what does he do? Like, is there any other way I could support you? Like, you know, and I think that is at the end of the day, a result of that mentality that's pushed me through school. And so if you don't have that, you can acquire it, but that's the thing. It's like,
you got to know your values. You got to know what's motivating you to be doing it.
And so I think it's funny because like the other day, my mom, you know, my mom's my mom, and you know, I'll love her whatever, you know, she can hate or she can love. On the days that she just wants to like vacilar and like make burla, she's like, all right, so I'm guessing you don't want to finish school or like you're done with it, right? And I'm like, no, hold up, no, I never said that. like
slow down.
Like, listen. You know, let me remind you, don't forget, and it's just that. But she'll joke around, but she understands that it's a process, and more than anything, it's something that I set out to do, and that I will get it done. Mm-hmm. You know. Time is just another part of it, and at the end of the day, it's like I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm almost gonna finish, but now that goal is no longer the main goal anymore. It's like a goal that I know I'll get to, but now I'm planning for what's after. It's an element to it. And that's a part of like why when you invited me and you were talking about it, I was like, yeah, I want to set that ball rolling so that once I graduate, I'm not I'm not thinking about what am I gonna do. It's no. I already started.
And that works.
Yeah, and so that's the real goal. It's crazy to think that that's how it starts. Like, I think we were touching base on it. It's like how it starts. You're doing all the work by yourself. You're putting all your money and effort in it. But the thing is that you can keep doing that and get nowhere, or you can keep doing it, but always trying to better your circumstances, getting help, asking for help, asking questions for people that are doing it, reaching out. Because in my head, for a while, I was like, fuck, like, when am I gonna, like, not keep, like, you know, going to zero, or, like, almost, you know, not making it for my rent if I keep doing these projects. And what I'm noticing now, it's like, yeah, there's people that are willing to, like, you know, either give you money, like a grant, if you write proposals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or if you're trying to, you know, be smarter about it, there's like bookkeeping and how you do your taxes, like financially. Like, I was like talking to my coworker about it, and he's like, yeah, like, I'm doing more contract work, but that means I need to learn, you know, a little bit more about how I'm doing my books.
Financial literacy.
And so that, I was like, oh shit, like, that's the part where you can't be scared of it.
Yeah.
You can be scared of it.
You gotta embrace this
but
shit.
You gotta, like, you know, face it.
And that goes back to, like, what I was mentioning earlier about just being uncomfortable doing certain things that you, like, when we were talking about Gary Vee, like, that was the gateway for me to get it broken into, like, the business world. Like, when I was all about the influence world, like urban and just culture, breaking into that content made me realize, like, damn, there's so much more stuff I need to learn.
Yeah.
Because if I learn it, it's gonna allow me to elevate my brand.
And that's the part of, like, what we see and what got us in was superficial. Like, it was just the surface.
Yep.
But once you really want to get into it, that's the part of, like, yeah, you have to learn software and hardware if you want to make these videos. Because
you're like, oh, damn.
I have friends, for example, let me make a music video. I'm like, yeah, but I can't make the best one for you because I know my ability, but I also know that's not my focus.
Yep.
I have homies that, like, they can break down to you, like, why their equipment costs as much, but the result that you get and the amount of time they'll put in After Effects and all these other things and location shooting and all that, because their focus is just really good video work. For me, it's like, it's a vehicle for me to get my message across. And so what I have to learn is a different amount of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do have to have an understanding of it, so that when I work with people that want that quality work, I'm like, I can hold my own or hold that conversation. Because, I mean,
is it important for you to know how to do these things?
You have to learn as much as you have to, like, do on the beginning. Because I think an example with, like, and using contemporary names like Steve Jobs, everybody's like, oh, this guy's, like, you know, head honcho, super famous, whatever, right? In the early days, he had to know how to code. He knew how to assemble a computer. He had to learn how to do that, like, that stuff.
Correct.
But there's a point where it's now mental, where he has to understand, okay, like, you know, fiscal responsibility, trying to, like, leverage, you know, buyers and shareholders or whatever that stuff. In the 80s, 90s, whatever, right? From what I've understood from school is that this guy understood how his company had to lead with design. Like, think of, like, 2005, 6 with the first iPhone, 2003? Yeah, the first, like...
I don't remember exactly the first time, because the only iPhone I remember getting introduced to was 3G.
The 3G? I had the 3GS. Yeah, shout out to my brother. He fucking bought me that. But what I learned in school is that, like, he understood the value of other people and their understanding of, like, good design practices.
For sure.
And so, like, at school, I realized that, dude, everything that I saw in the movies, everything that I saw about him, like, there's so much more depth of that understanding of, like, more. Because he had to know about manufacturing, metals, and, like, finishes and shit like that. But not just him. He had to understand it because people that were working with him were saying, like, these were the best options for a pristine phone, for, like, the best of the best. And so for me now, it's like, okay, so I want to run a vlog. I want to run a YouTube channel. We all see them. We all subscribe to a bunch of videos. Like, but the difference is you don't know how much that vlogger knows, like, about his craft, about the content he's covering, and about how he's actually pushing it out. Because the other part is, like, I run my vlogs and all that stuff, but you also think, like, this guy has a low count on video, like, views and stuff. But in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, I have to market, network, and email people that actually find it relevant, or that could also write a blog about it, like, can come and do something, and then boots on the ground, going to shows, going to events, talking about it to people, and seeing and showing them the value of what I'm creating. And so it's all, like, something you have to learn on your own. Because for example, the first time I ever had to write a press release, I learned that at work, and I was like, what the fuck? You do this to invite newscasters? Like, I think we invited Telemundo, Univision, and, like, a couple emails to, like, a couple blogs to come and to work.
Invite press.
And so I was like, oh shit, I learned that at my job. But as soon as that month was over, all the projects were done. I was like, oh shit! Now I know how to write a press release. Oh shit! Like now I have to go and do that for my own stuff.
Yeah.
And so that is like something that says that
that's gonna go a long way.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm like, oh well, there's things you learn at a company when you work there as an employee.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to know, fuck it, like that's value, and now I know, because how many people don't know that? They just think, oh, my shit's gonna blow up because it's good.
Oh no,
and that's it.
I mean, it's only like a 1% people that actually made it happen like that, like Lil Nas X and all these motherfuckers.
Yeah, and so
yeah, go ahead.
But you have to find those resources. You have to find that extra. Like, how much do you have to know? And honestly, I try not to get too tangled up with like tutorials or learning more. Like, I like to learn as I go. Yeah. And when I have questions, like the biggest thing right now is like, or the most recent thing, IGTV. I was like, that shit's whack. Like, I didn't watch it.
I still try to adapt to that myself.
But I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to the podcast. I'm gonna look at some videos. I'm gonna see some input. I'm gonna look at content. I'm gonna try to find it, try to see how it's important.
Yeah.
But vice versa. Like, oh, how do you really use these platforms to like leverage them to get that message across and find the audience that you want?
Yeah.
Because I have friends that say, oh, I fucking hate seeing ads on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, but how many times does that ad actually? Is it something that you do need and you click on it?
Yeah, because of that algorithm, and on top of that, all that data that they collect. Yeah, and it caters to what your wants and needs are.
Yeah, and so it's like people might not like it, but for a business owner that's struggling, it could mean the difference between I'm going to get out of the game or actually leveled up because I understood it.
It's funny you brought that up because right now I work as an SDR at Memory Blue, and one of the technologies that we're selling is a technology from a company called ARM, and what they do is that they basically collect all this like thousands and hundreds of thousands of data from like the chips on your Apple Watch and your phone, and then like the any electronics that are in the store. So like for example, like if you go into like Nike and you have the Nike app and you pick up 2 shirts and a hat and I don't know, like a lanyard, and then on the way to the line you're like, you know what, I don't think I want this hat no more, so you leave it, and then you go and purchase and you head on your way out. But maybe before the way out you get a notification from Nike, be like, hey, I brought to my attention that you didn't want to get this shirt. Do you want to still get it? Here's a coupon that will actually allow you to still get it. So that conversion rate is a higher probability of you buying it. That shit was intense. I was like, that's low-key scary, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was studying this shit, I was like, I start on this on June 3rd.
That's what I'm talking about though. So like that shit's the wild stuff. But that goes to say, me and you are trying to do it at like a basic understanding, but there's these companies that have a team of people that are like, how can we make this transaction occur? Exactly. And what are the challenges and problem solving?
And the beautiful thing about even us talking about these technologies and these methods and these tactics is that there's a lot of small business owners that are still on the old 80s and the 90s model of print and ad and physically go door to door and all these other shit, which is now, and I'm glad that you're here now because I feel like I can give you my level of education and what I learned. And what I'm going with is like with Nipsey Hussle. I always go to Nipsey Hussle because I was a huge fan of him and I always consumed a lot of his content growing up. But one of the things that he really emphasized on, he had a keynote with one of his with his CTO named Idris, and he's a developer for Uber. Before he was 18 years old. He was from Ghana. He came to the United States and he got an award from Barack Obama as like one of the most youngest developers, and he got work for Uber a couple years, and he created the autonomous driving. So like how Uber are now partnering with Tesla to do self-driving vehicles that they're like testing in Pennsylvania, Arizona. So now you could be hella drunk at the club, and next thing you know, fucking Uber pulls up, there's nobody in that motherfucker, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna pick you up, take you home, but there's nobody there the whole entire time. That's autonomous driving. So like if you're at like 50% using it, let's say you have one hand, the autonomous driving will pick up the other 50%. And if you go no hands, it'll go 100% autonomous. So that's what they were teaching, right? But Nipsey really emphasized on integrating vertically. So it kind of goes to Apple, because Apple, they do their own marketing, their distribution, their manufacturing. Everything is a whole ecosystem. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about in the communities, people that are trying to build from the ground up. We might make music, but we don't own iTunes on the platform that it's being distributed on. Or we might own clothing brands, but we don't own Big Cartel or Shopify. You see what I'm saying? So like what he was emphasizing and what he was working on that was so big is that, he's integrating vertically. All his manufacturing is done by himself through local businesses in LA. His distribution, which is the Marathon Clothing, which is on Crenshaw, which is now Nipsey Hussle Square, right in South Central. And if you go inside that store, you can download the Marathon clothing app. He has his own app. And if you buy a piece of his fabric, it has QR coding on the actual clothes. So like, let's just say like your design, for example, he will like go on the app, he'll like look at it, and it has AR. So pretty much like it'll show like his music video or like some of his unreleased content. And like, so it was like him building an experience. So he was really emphasizing on the digital evolution, because now, if people don't know, like retail's going to go out of business within 5 to 10 years now because of AI and AR technology, because of the fact that, are you familiar with the Amazon Go Store?
Yeah, where you basically, it's like you pick up items and it's all on your cart.
And that's, remember that ARM technology I was talking about? How they're able to detect it? It's the same shit. Same technology, how they're able to give you transaction stuff, right? But look at how many jobs are eliminated. No more cashiers, no more managers, no more merchandisers, because you have people that are supplemented over robots. Why am I going to pay someone $40,000, $30,000 a year when I can just buy a robot for the same price for 10 years?
And that, I think at the end of the day, it's like not to get all gloomed, like all sad, because it could sound all horrible.
It sounds terrible, but I'm just feeling it. 1,000.
But it's getting ahead of that, and it's knowing what I was saying, like going back to my point of like school, or like bringing that, or just anything in general. You either are scared of it and you run away and you blame it and you're like, oh, that's why I lost my job.
Yeah, cynical.
Or you face it and you're like, what could I do? Because right now, we're engineers, coders, programmers. Like, you still need these people that have to know that knowledge in order to create that next software or next update. And for me, it's just like, it's crazy, because it's like, me and you can sit here and we can keep interviewing people, but that's what it seems like on the surface. But we both know that we go deeper. We have to go like harder on those aspects of learning and kind of building that team, or building that. Because at one point, I would love to be able to be like a media company and basically create these shows and follow like a good example that I like is like Complex magazine. Like how they do that. But that's so crazy that template's always been there. Like you see Disney, like they all have like a bunch of shows that you see, they'll funnel out and whatever. But what's crazy, like my brother in LA right now, he tells me about how those shows are pitched. He talks to me about how those things actually start. And then even now, when you have like people like Netflix and Hulu like are coming out with their own series, and Amazon Prime, I believe, also has their own TV series. These shows are getting picked up, but there's a creator out there that's filming, editing, producing, and doing these things, and simply just selling them to them. For sure. So it goes to say, but it goes to say that there's opportunity, for sure, and that there's other avenues, and it's so interesting that it's like mediums. You are at a time like that's where I see it. I'm like, I can go to school for something, and that's cool, but it's still work on this project, and I'd love to be able to like hone that craft even more so. And just try to get it in the hands of other people. So for the summer, that's the same thing. 3 more months, I'm trying to do it before I go to school. Finish a couple more films, trying to finish a couple more interviews. But I'm excited, and even right now, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not thinking. But but it's like, but it's that. It's I'm still 25. I'll be 26 in August, and I'm like, fuck it, dude.
Friends coming up.
It's more than anything an opportunity to just keep just trying new shit. And it's cool because at the end of the day, like I see that, and what's crazier is that I'm finally meeting the vloggers that I've wanted to. Hell yeah! And I don't just mean on YouTube. I mean like people that are actually moving things, and I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. Hell yeah! And it's cool because because
you get recognized. You do the same thing. They see you as someone a part of the game.
Yeah, and it's cool because now I'm like, fuck, it'd be dope to work with big corporations or companies, but my main focus right now is like, how can I just serve people better? And like and make sure that the things that I'm promoting reflect my brand, reflect me.
It all comes down to building your own personal brand and your brand for your company. And I feel sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. Okay.
Like, and what I wanted to touch with that is that, and the reason why I keep refraining to Nipsey is because it's more of like a translation. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the dialogue that we use sometimes it's not really relatively like people don't connect with it. And I talk to people off camera all the time about like, Elon Musk, what he's doing is like revolutionary. Like right now he's in the midst of making underground roads to eliminate traffic and like all this crazy shit. But someone that grew up in South San Jose, Seven Trees, or like Compton, or like Long Beach, they're not, I don't give a fuck about that guy. But if you see someone that looks like me, maybe the same skin color, like Nipsey, for example, who was very educated, talking about things like that matters, makes it like transparent. Makes me like, oh damn, like I need to be self-aware about that,
and
especially if he knows.
And that's a role that maybe you don't want it, maybe you do, but you're gonna play it whether or not you like it or not at a certain point. And so, why not try to take hold of that ownership and like lead by example, but like influencing your own community? Because honestly, fuck, I joke around with my friends and I'm like, yeah, I'm a little brown morenito boy, and it sounds funny, and it's like I'll say it, but it's like I can't forget that like when I go to a middle school or when I go to high school and I'm a guest speaker or I'm invited as an artist or whatever, I'm holding space, but I'm also leading by example.
For sure.
Like I'm a person
of color. That's why
it's
really important. Like,
and I'm doing this. And no one told me, hey, go ahead, or hey, come do it over here. Because in the beginning, it was some random kid saying, hey, can I interview you? Like, for what? How many people are going to see it? And that was like the biggest like thing that when I was told, I was like, fuck, like, who is going to watch this shit? But it's,
what do you mean?
Like when I first made my videos, well, yeah, like, you're not. I wasn't anybody. Yeah. I wasn't anybody.
So you're saying you were going up to random people trying to interview them?
Yeah, like, or that's how it seemed, right? Okay. Like when you send out an email, when you tell them like, hey, I'm this and this, you're trying to, trying to sound like you're something, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it starts. And now today, it's like when I send out that email, I have a good list of I've worked with here.
Yeah,
this company, small, like, and so now it's like, oh, okay, well let's sit down, let's talk about it, and thankfully. There's projects in the pipeline I can't announce yet, but I know I got a grant, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this is a pristine organization, and I want to try to see what I can do for them and show them that whatever funds they give me, I'm gonna give back to the community, but make sure that the work that's created out of it is top quality, as good as I can get it, and hopefully, and that's the part of like, well, it's not hopefully, it's gonna be if I do, if I hit my marks and I make sure that I." Make that conversion.
So what's your way of giving back to the community?
So work, one thing is like paying artists, paying my videographers, paying my people that are like helping me out. Employment. And then the other part is activating spaces. At my current job at Makla, that's what they always talk about. And that's kind of one of the biggest things I've taken. Activating spaces and putting them to use, right? So for example,
I like that.
When you see like Chavez, right now, sometimes it's hella dead, or First Street, like right now Monterey turns into First Street, South First Street. That shit's a dead street. And I remember first time I worked there, I'm like, damn, this place is hella boring. Maybe there's nothing going on. But businesses, artists, the community activates it and turns it into a festival, closes down the roads.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so when you start,
wasn't there a thing called Sub-Zero?
Yeah, it's coming up. But
I've been trying to get in that for years, never got in.
Hey, I'll get you in, man. I know the people that run it, but that's the thing. Once you start learning about all of the year work that they have to do to attract 3,000, 4,000 people, you start learning like, oh, like they activate it through what? And they say opportunities, events, trying to and not only that, but through the city and actually going to city council meetings and shit like that. Of like, why do we need to close down, a major road in order for people to just hang out? And it's no. This is culture. This is important to the city. It's attracting a demographic.
And what's crazy? I want to elaborate on that because Sub-Zero has been something I've been a fan of. Like I had the pleasure of going one time when I was in college at Deanza, 2014. It's a long time ago, and I just remember seeing it. I was hella fathomed by it. At this time, I hadn't started Emlyn yet. I was just a theory, an idea. And I was like, damn, that shit is dope. You know what I'm saying? But I knew, and this is just me being honest, I seen a lot of areas of community that still weren't there. There's a lot of urban culture that still wasn't there. Maybe the ones that are broken in already, they're giving opportunities for people that they know through their resources, through their network. For example, you said you knew the people in charge. I could never get in contact with those people, right? And that's because I never knew anybody in that space. So this is why it's important for us to elaborate, because I feel like us sitting down and going on this podcast is that we're merging these communities.
Yeah. Okay. So
go ahead.
I'm gonna take a moment. Okay. So I'll give you the breakdown. So Sherry Lakey, she's the owner of Anno Domini, along with her partner Brian, and that space in particular. When I found out, I was 16, so it's almost a decade ago.
Yep.
But I found out the rich history. So David Cho, the guy that got paid by Facebook in stock early on in the game, and he made his name off of that, on other work obviously. Shepard Ferry, the guy from Obey, they're homies of Sherry Lakey. That's this hidden gem in San Jose. But she has had crazy artists showcased in that gallery. But that's the thing about that space, and just in general about her city. Sometimes you don't know about these things because you We just don't know the
not
history.
Informed.
Yeah,
not everyone's informed.
So Sherry Lakey is one of the pioneers of that event. Like homegirl could be in LA and be a mover and shaker. She could go to SF and be a mover and shaker. Yeah. Like she has that reputation
for sure.
She has Barry McGee. Like she has photos of that homeboy. And these are artists that I'm name dropping because they're like contemporary. You can Google them. You can go on YouTube and you can find out who they are.
Yeah.
But you Google Sherry Lakey, you don't even know who the fuck she is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You might find an article, 2 or 3. You might find people that may know her, but I'll honestly tell you, she is here in San Jose with that sole purpose of helping out this community, artists, and giving them opportunity. And anything I've learned from her, like in art, is just basically you stay here with that goal, you will build community that'll last a long time. Honestly,
I agree with that.
So it's been a decade. I still hang out in downtown.
Yeah.
And I still put people on. Kids that are coming out of high school, I'm like, if you're 16, 17, 18, come volunteer, come hang out, come like, the summer is fucking, well, yeah, lit.
So where's this located? Because and a bunch of people that don't know where it's at want to know where it's at.
So Anno Domini is on South 1st Street across from the Sofa Market.
It's like that area where they have all the fancy looking square things. It's like metal, but they're colored, right? Red, yellow, and orange.
So that's Makla, actually, right there. So Makla is that corner building, and that building's there. So Makla's been around since 1989.
Damn,
so
I didn't even know that.
You have people watching this vlog. They may have been to punk shows, poetry slams. They might have been.
Yeah, because I follow a lot of people that have been there, but I never took the time to go myself.
So Makla is also another pioneer, 30 years. Fun fact: Kanye West had a show early on when his College Dropout album came out, and he performed at the SAP or HP Pavilion, now SAP Center.
Yeah.
He had an after party at Makla.
Damn.
My old coworker Joey Reyes told me the stories about his now wife Gwen working with Kanye, and she basically said, "Yeah, Kanye. There's a reason why Kanye is Kanye. That guy was helping, moving, and actually making that show a cool after party."
Hell yeah.
But they rented out Makla space, and that's what's crazy to me because I was like, "What the fuck?" But it goes to say, because Kanye West works with nonprofits when he has these shows, and it's like, well, everybody hates Kanye, but Kanye is about the community
for sure.
So that's another story. I'm like, what the fuck? But not only that, Makla's had really good residencies and really cool people, and a lot of people have come from Makla. So the people from the Changing Same, TCS, Charlie Brown, and the Sonido Clash crew, some of them actually worked in that nonprofit and using the mixed board, soundboards, or whatever, helping with theater productions. But they broke off eventually, moved on. So anyways, up the street, if you keep going, you'll find Cafe Stritch, Cafe Frescati, Sofa Market with a bunch of bistros where now Aurora Club is right next to, or Aurora Lounge or whatever. Yeah. But across you'll see Anno Domini. It's a great building, has murals. Some of those artists, bro, they're fucking international. They're pretty good, well known, but they're on the murals at the side. So they're the ones that you'll always see. But it's not to say that they're the only artist collective, and I know there's a few other ones, Empire 7, but all these cats are doing that work and leveraging what they know and their ability and talent to really. I don't like saying putting San Jose on the map because it's not something that I think that needs to be done anymore because it's we're there. It's now where's your culture? Tell me about your stories. Tell me about your narrative.
I agree with that too.
And now with me, I'm just trying to follow up with that legacy because at the end of the day, who am I going to bring? Who am I employing? Who am I going to bring? And that's tying up back what I'm saying. It's when I make my vlogs, when I make my videos, when I make something, I want it to reflect the community. But I also want it to serve so that when someone comes and visits San Jose, they see the genuine side. They see the east side. They see the south side. They see the west side. They don't just see nice high rises, bougie ass, fucking fancy ass shit.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I have a vendetta, but honestly, I'm hella soft that I won't go say, hey, fuck you. Yeah. But I see the ad agency that they use. I see the shit that they do. But in my thing, I'm I'm gonna lead by example and say that's cool. You funnel your money through that. Use the city's funds to do that. But me, I'm gonna take initiative to make homies on the east side. 7th Street, South Side, Berryessa, where they at, and over by the west side way, Willow Glen area, all these cats, all these hoods have POCs, that own businesses, restaurants and shit. I'm gonna do my part and highlight them, talk about them, their stories.
Exactly. I agree with that because I feel like having the, being able to have a platform where people can hear you, see you, it's really good to enable activity in these spaces, like in local businesses, consuming their fashion, just contributing. At the end of the day, some people don't understand what support means. They think you need to buy everything.
I'm like, nah, like
it don't even need to be that.
I think the biggest thing is like, not even talking about social media. I'm not even saying like, oh, share a post. No. Go hang out on the east side.
Yep.
We have a new transit system that can take you all of Allum Rock. Like, go check out, like, go hang out over there.
Yeah.
Like, instead of pulling up in downtown on a fucking Saturday or Sunday, like, go see what's up over there. Like, and not only that, if you think it's bland and boring, let's try to make some more events. Like, my biggest thing right now in the east side is the Sonido Clash Music Fest. So working on with their team and trying to promote that venue. Like, not too many people know, but like, have you heard of Cuco? Like, no. Okay, so Cuco fans, he's coming in August 1st to.
He's like a tour. Yeah, like a tour. They're gonna have it there, right?
Yeah, they're having for Music in the Park, right? So this guy's up and coming, Hawthorne, California. We actually got to meet him 2 years ago, 2017, because DMC was invited to go and like just get free tickets, check out this small thing. We thought it was small. When we got there, it was like having like musicians that you would pay $80 to go see VIP and maybe just shake their hand, to just hang. We were actually hanging out with them. We were skateboarding at the end with them. Like that shit. Like it was wild. Last year they brought Jasper Bones, another guy that signed under Interscope Records. They brought the lead singer of Chicano Batman, another like prominent like Chicano group, and they were all like fucking within range like this and just talking. And I was like, what the fuck? But Sonido Clash is doing that, and so in my head I was like, any more work I can do for you, let me know. Any more word of mouth, like selling tickets or just helping and manning the event, let me know. And so that goes to say, well, that event I think is hella dope and it's put on by really good people. And not only that, but like the vendors and everybody that comes in, all local.
Hell yeah.
All like mom and pop. And they're giving those booths that space. And so in my head I'm like, they're putting in the work.
That's a big gathering. It's a big community gathering for sure.
And so I was like at the that was a Mexican Heritage Plaza, like that shit's fucking cool. I was like, all right, this is something I can get behind and I can push. I don't want my name on it or something like that or anything like that. I want to make sure that the kids in high school that are just finding out about that music to be like, know that these 4 or 5 people were the ones. I don't know how the fuck they made that event work.
Yeah.
But they made it and they brought this talent out.
Hell yeah.
To the point then that now Music in the Park heads saw the artist that they brought and they were just like, oh, I guess he performed here. Yeah. So let's bring him here because and then
leverage credibility.
And this is the part where I was like, oh, Sonido Clash told me that the price for Cuco at a certain point, because he was like young coming up, was X amount, and that's why they booked him at that event. Fast forward 2 years, this kid's played Coachella. He's played Tropicalia. He's like on MTV.
Oh yeah, he need the bands.
And so
he need the bands.
Homeboy got a bigger budget, and so what does that mean then? Now a bigger venue like Music in the Park had now because of what San Jose's done on the east side, on the north side can now now you got to pay a heftier price in order to bring them here.
For sure.
But on Music in the Park, that ticket's a little bit more and VIP and all that. But in my head, I'm like, he's just one artist, but how many times over can we do that? Like,
exactly.
Where we find that kind of talent.
How can we repeat the cycle? People growing in this community
and so
being on that platform.
And so for me, I'm just like, that's a good example, and for me, that hyped me up, and I'm just like, dude, if anything you take from here is like the Changing Same, the Continental on Thursdays, they brought hella talent. They brought hella people from Soul Action, but in my head, I'm like, I love Soul Action, but the Changing Same, like the guy that heads it, he's doing his work. He brought Masego, Starro, like he's Chad from Torimoa. I don't know how to say the name, but they've all played there, and it's like dope ass talent.
And just so I know, and so does everybody know, because I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not familiar with a lot of these people. So I need to know like these genres and like where these people mainly
lo-fi, hip hop, like R&B, soul, like bro, like Thursday nights in San Jose. One of my friends from SF LA hit me up, or when my brother. Because he's in LA. Yeah. He put me on. He's like, hey, yo, if you're looking for something to do in San Jose, check out this place. I was like, what the fuck? But you're in LA. He's like, no, dude, trust me. Like, we hear about the people that he's bringing in San Jose. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I guess it started with Jay Lewis. That was like 2013, 14. I just went out, and my brother's like, go check out. He's coming out to this bar. I'm already 21, so I was like, oh, fuck it, okay. I go. Dude, yeah.